Today is the 22nd of December, so 8 days until we go to Fiji, and we've now got to get our COVID test booked in. Because we're going to be in Canberra for Christmas, that means we have to get it booked in to a lab in Canberra. It can't be more than 72 hours before departure, so we've got to make sure that we get the timing right, and hopefully we both test negative. They send us the COVID vaccination certificate and we board the flight and everything's happy days. I'm not sure what happens if we're positive. I assume we just cancel everything and it all turns to shit, but this is the new post-COVID travel era. Now I'm now going on to the COVID testing for travel website, which I've saved as a shortcut. And I'm going to fill it out and see if we can book in for our COVID test in Canberra. Options. ACT. Alright, so there's only one collection location in the ACT. Here's an interesting event. I'm now being asked if I would like my COVID pathology report uploaded to the IATA Travel Pass. Come up, yes, I'm over 18, just, and add new passenger. Go to next, and we're processing. Now we need a credit card. Okay, so we've gone through all the process. We've put in all our details, etc. Paid the $300 via Amex. They take Amex, which is good because I get extra points. And now I'm waiting for an email to confirm. I guess I now book the pathology test. Let's see what happens next. Okay, so I've received this PDF form which basically says that I've paid for $150 and that the documents I've provided prove that I'm going overseas and that I need to get a special pathology test. But I don't know that anything's booked, so I guess I have to keep going. I just called the lab, which is on the form, just to double check what we need to do for the test in Canberra. Turns out that you need to call them and you need to pre-book. So now we're booked in for 10:30 and 10:45 next Tuesday, which is well inside the 72-hour window we must get tested for. So hopefully all is good. Let's see. So here we are. We've actually arrived at the lab in Canberra as we made an appointment for 10:30. So let's just go and see what happens. So this is the documentation I have with me for the test, the booking form and my passport. So hopefully that's all I need. Okay, so here we are. We've just done our COVID test. We were in and out in less than 10 minutes, which was fantastic. The technician who took our sample says it's been sent to Sydney to a lab and we should have it back within 48 hours, which is a bit freaky because we've got to leave here in about 46 hours to go to Fiji. But you're guaranteed that our results would come back before we depart, so hopefully everything's fine. So I'll touch base in Sydney and let you know what happens. Good morning. This is Wednesday, so they're 24 hours before we depart for Fiji. Good news is I got a COVID result at 2:04 this morning, confirming that I'm COVID negative, and at 2:40 I got an email with a certificate confirming that I'm good to fly. However, Linda got an email at 2:40 saying that they've received the sample and it could take up to 36 hours to get a result. So I'm going to Fiji and she's not. So we've got to figure out what we do now. So after a 3-hour drive, we've now arrived at the Rydges Hotel at the International Airport in Sydney. And now we're going to go for a walk over to the departure area to see if we can sort out Linda's COVID test because she still hasn't received any result. And we're checking in at 11 o'clock in the morning, so we're running out of time. Just for your reference, this is how close the Rydges Hotel is to the departure area. It's literally 181 steps according to the hotel. So we're now at the testing facility at Sydney Airport. They can turn it around in how long? Less than an hour?
Less than an hour.
Linda's just scanned, now she's got to fill it all out again, and they only charge you $79. We paid $150 and the test hasn't come back yet. Looks like a much better service. So with the airport pathology test, it was only $79 and we got it back in 30 minutes, all done, ready to go. Fiji, here we come. So we've just checked in on our flight to Fiji. Everything went fine. I'd say it's taking at least double the time it normally would take to check in, because they've got to check your vaccination, your COVID negative certificates. But I'm just going to show you the queue. We got here 4 hours early and we were probably waiting 15 minutes because we're warned by Qantas we should. And the queue now, I'll just show you the queue, mostly in economy, but as you can see, it's pretty long. So I would estimate that queue to check in is going to take them a good 3 hours to get in. So my advice is get here 4 hours early. Well, we made it into the airport. It's very quiet. It's like a ghost town. Immigration and customs, there was literally nobody there, so it was easy to get in. A couple of interesting points. Yesterday we were told that the Qantas lounge is not accessible because we're flying on a FEG flight, even though we're on a Qantas flight number. This morning when we checked in, we were told that FEG doesn't have a lounge, so we can't access anything. So they gave us vouchers, food vouchers for $40 per passenger. Went to the Qantas lounge and they said yes, you can access, but it's not opening until 1 p.m, which is 15 minutes before we're supposed to board the flight. So Qantas is opening and closing the lounge during the day based on their limited departures of international flights. My app also tells me that I have access to the Qantas lounge. So there's a lot of confusion around the rules, just like everywhere else in travel at the moment. So you do have access to the lounge, but the access is limited based on open times. Thank you. Was it 16? Alright, with this cleared immigration, we're now legally in Fiji. I have to say the process was no different to normal.
But easy, because when you're at the front of the plane it goes a bit faster.
Well, even so, the guy was very friendly, the staff are very efficient, it really worked out well. There was no difference to normally clearing immigration. We're now got to go and collect our luggage. It's all very quiet at the moment. Oh, luggage has already started. That was quick. Very quick. There we go. Got our luggage after not even 5 minutes. Let's go. Off we go to the resort. We've got to find our transfer now, which has to be pre-booked by government law. All right, how long did that take? The whole process less than 10 minutes. And we are now going through into the arrival hall. Hopefully there's somebody here. Bulla, everyone loves the bulla. Hello. Yes. Here we go. Here's our driver. Bulla, how are you?
Fine, thank
Going
you.
to the Sofitel?
Yes.
Alright, so we're now waiting for that driver to get his car. We're all here. That took nothing.
Nothing.
That was really easy. No one was trying to hassle us. It was all
No.
nice, good,
Happy
fun.
to see us.
And it's actually quite warm.
It's very warm.
Probably 28 degrees and humidity is hovering around a near 100%. Time for a beer, I think. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Oh, boy, jeez, it's nice and cold in
Oh,
here.
it's lovely.
Beautiful.
Don't worry about your luggage. I'll upload
Oh,
them for you.
thank you.
Well,
Hi, welcome to Waitui.
Thank you.
you've taken your mask off.
I have.
Why?
I don't need to wear it here
Why not?
because I went through all the tests and all the checks to
All
get
negative.
here.
Oh, okay. But you have to.
I have to.
Just precaution.
Yes, it's just precaution. Even though we are fully vaccinated, even with the booster injection.
Okay. Well, good morning. We've made it to the Sofitel Resort and Spa in Denner Island, Fiji. It was quite uneventful checking in last night. It was really quite easy. What we have learnt is we have to get a rapid engine test or RAT test 48 hours after arrival, so that'll be tomorrow. We also get our normal PCR test done here prior to departure from the resort, so we don't have to worry about trying to get it in town or at the airport on arrival. It's all coordinated from the resort, which makes it nice and easy. So yeah, the actual experience itself was good. It wasn't that hard. It was a bit of a shit show in Sydney trying to get the test for Linda back, but once we got that done at the airport, which I'd highly recommend you do rather than try and go into a lab elsewhere, it was all quite organised. Definitely get to the airport 4 hours early, just in case. Everything else was pretty well straightforward. The flight itself was good. Food was great, drinks were great, no complaints there. I think the arrival process was so easy. We were from landing to the resort was about 35-40 minutes, so very impressive. Here we are at day 3. We're on our way to get our COVID RAT test done. So we've been here more than 48 hours now, so hopefully all is good. Got our mask at hand, so let's see how this goes. We're at the testing location where we get our RAT test done. We've been here 48 hours now. We must have a mask to wear, even though we don't need a mask anywhere else in the resort. There they are in there doing their testing thing. Okay, we've just had our rapid antigen test done. Had the thing stuck up our nose, and then we've got to wait 15 minutes for the results. So, all pretty easy. I just had an interesting thought. What happens if we come back positive? Then what? Okay, all done, all clear, negative tests all around. Now it's time for breakfast. Okay, it's the day before we depart back to Sydney, and we're back in the testing area for a full PCR test this time. Hopefully it's negative. Alright, we just did our PCR test for our flight back to Sydney tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Bit of a problem. They're saying we'll get the results back tomorrow sometime. Not good enough because we need it to board or to book our check-in tomorrow, and I think it's 5:30 a.m. So they're now taking our test results to the lab straight after our test, which has just been done, and we'll get our test back tonight, hopefully. Wow, it's been a very interesting 24 hours. This is now Thursday afternoon. We're supposed to leave at 9 o'clock this morning to fly home, but we had a little bit of a challenge. We did our COVID PCR test at 8 o'clock last yesterday morning, and I was supposed to come back that afternoon, which turned into that night, which should be sometime early this morning, so we'd pick it up prior to our departure. At 4 a.m. we still hadn't received it. So we made the call to change our flights to Friday, so tomorrow morning, which is a good call because it turns out we didn't get the results back until 12 o'clock. So I guess the advice here is get your test done as early as you can because they're not organised at all. So I guess the bad news is we missed the flight. Well, we didn't, we rescheduled. Good news is we've got another night in Fiji and all good to go home tomorrow. Well, here we are Friday morning. We've just checked into the FEG desk at the hotel, which was very seamless. We were the only ones there, but the guy Ching Esin said that yesterday was crazy, so it pays to get there early, and we are. It's not 6 yet, and our transfer is supposed to pick us up at 6:30, so we're all ready to go. We just learnt that we need to get a special app to do a declaration, to get a QR code to make our entry into Australia more seamless. I'll do a screen capture of that so I can show you exactly what that's all about. Meantime, I'll see you in the lounge. We're now back at Nadi Airport and all seems quiet and organised, but as we checked in at the hotel, we don't have to do anything other than go to departures, straight to the lounge. The FEG lounge was not overly busy. It's been recently upgraded, so very good quality, great range of food, drinks, great coffee, no complaints here. Just drive back in Sydney. Let's see what immigration feels like this time around. So now we're back in Sydney. I can tell you the immigration process was really no different to usual. Because the airport is so quiet, it was very efficient. We were through the airport in about 15 minutes total from start to finish. Luggage came out really quickly as well. The QR code that we had scanned, and I'll show you how that is downloaded, no one even asked for it. So it was pretty much you went to the self-service kiosk, scanned your passport and you're in. That was that simple. I'll now take you through the downloading of the ATD Federal Government app. This is your declaration, so you complete it with the 2 levels of authentication. You put in your passport details, you've got to authenticate all of that, upload your vaccination certificate, your negative COVID test details. Once you've done that, then you put in your flight details of where you travel from and to, what day you're coming back to Australia, etc. And once you've got it all loaded on your phone, then I guess every time you do a trip, you simply just complete the details and submit it to the Australian Federal Government. So now that we're back in Australia, I guess the real consideration now is how much of a pain in the ass is post-COVID travel. There's no doubt there's a lot of hoops you've got to jump through now that you've never had to do before. Getting the testing done at the airport is definitely the way to go. Checking in early, definitely. No running late, it's not going to work. You need 4 hours, which is really ridiculous, but you need to make sure that the check-in staff have got plenty of time to check you through because there's so many more checks to be done. Once you get through the check-in process, the immigration customs is very, very simple. So once you've got in through immigration and customs, you're into the departure area. It's pretty much business as normal, except you must wear a mask. Getting on the flight is pretty much the same. Again, you must wear a mask. You have to have a mask on the whole duration of the flight unless you're eating or drinking. Getting off at the other end, it's pretty much the same. You just need to be organised, have all your bookings done in advance. My recommendation is make sure that everything is pre-booked. But I guess the big question is, after all the experiences of the extra testing and protocols, was it worth it? Hell yeah. There's nothing like an international holiday. Yeah, you just got to be really organised. You've got to be COVID safe wherever you go. My recommendation is travel with a reputable company that knows what they're doing.